Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap.
Welcome everyone to episode 7 of the Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap, where every week we go over last week's games, this week's matchups, and as always, we sit down with one of the league owners and go over what's going on in the Fantasy Football League world. Now, I know it's been a couple of weeks since we did our last episode, and here at Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Studios, we appreciate your patience. So with all that being said, let's jump straight to it and go over some recaps. Now, as we saw in Week 10, To The House 40 squad eliminated Bo the Show from any playoff chances. 40 squad would go on to play Chirac in Week 11, and for the 11th time in league history, they were going to lose to Chirac, this time 108-76. Now, Week 11 also saw Team Trinidad James defeat Golden Showers 103-99, another very close game. We also got to see Team Go-Go Ratchet defeat Sioux Girls 1 Cup 107-53, and this is when Go-Go Ratchet took first place. Yeah, that's right. Team Go-Go Ratchet was in first place at some point during this season. Now, we also got to see Team Rick is a Bitch defeat Sauce Gang 100-90, and this week 11 was a bunch of close games because they only won by 10 points. And our last game for Week 11 was Team Redskin Gophers defeating Bo the Show 100-87. With that said, let's move on to Week 12. Now, here in Week 12, this is where we got to see first place team Go-Go Ratchet lose that spot. We got to see them lose to The House 40 squad 106-84. Now, when they lost, that opened up the first place spot for either the Redskin Gophers or Team Chirac. Now, it would be Team Chirac that would end up taking advantage as they beat the Redskin Gophers that week 113-83. Now, with this, we also got to see during Week 12, we got to see Team Golden Showers come back from Week 11's loss as they beat Bo the Show 138-102. Now, also during Week 12, we got to see Team Rick is a Bitch defeat Sioux Girls 1 Cup 103-77, and this would actually be the game and the week that John, owner of Team Owner Sioux Girls 1 Cup, would be eliminated from any playoff chances this year. But he wouldn't be alone, as Team Owner Reese of Sauce Gang would also be eliminated this week, pretty much, as they lost to Trinidad James 89-84. Now, we were actually able to meet up with team owner Scott James that night, and we were able to ask him how he felt about that win over Team Sauce Gang and how he felt about eliminating Reese.
Scott James, how are we feeling right now? You just took out Sauce Gang. You might have eliminated them from the playoffs. How are you feeling right now? You are now in 5th place. You're one game away from solidifying the playoffs. How are we feeling?
Feel like I'm going to take it all, right?
What do you have to say to last year's champion, who you just took to 8th place?
The new champ is here.
Man, I just love the competitiveness in this league. Now, with that said, let's move on to Week 13's recaps. Now, Week 13 was an intense week, as we saw the top 4 teams having to play each other in order to secure not a playoff spot, but the bye week, as all the teams were fighting for the first and second spot. Now, we saw Chirac secured first place as they defeated Golden Showers 118-89 for the first place and bye week. Following up, we then got to see the Redskin Gophers defeat Go-Go Ratchet 92-65 to secure second place and the first week bye. Now, even though Go-Go Ratchet lost, they still secured the 3rd spot, and even though Golden Showers lost, they still secured the 4th spot, which left the 5th and 6th final 2 spots. Now, last week I said that Sauce Gang was pretty much eliminated. Now, they did have a chance to make the final spot. All they needed was for Trinidad James to lose, and they needed to beat Sioux Girls 1 Cup. And they didn't do either. Neither one of those two things happened for them, as Trinidad James beat Bo the Show to secure the 5th spot. They beat him 130-76. Now, Sauce Gang also had to defeat Sioux Girls 1 Cup, but they couldn't even do that, as they lost 96-88. Even though Sioux Girls 1 Cup won the game, though, they still finished the season 6-7, in 8th place, and because of this loss, Sauce Gang was already eliminated, didn't have anything going for them. They finished 9th place at 5-8. Now, with that actually being garbage matchup of the week, I actually got sent an ad from team owner Rick, and I guess this would be the most appropriate time to put it. So here's a quick commercial break sponsored by team owner Rick. Now, the final wildcard spot would end up being between the Rick is a Bitch versus To The House 40 squad, and Rick is a Bitch was able to secure the spot as they won 131-90, and they secured that 6th spot, the wildcard spot. So pretty much what we have for the playoffs, we're going to have in first team Chirac, 2nd place we're going to have the Redskin Gophers, in 3rd place we're going to have team Go-Go Ratchet, and 4th place Golden Showers, in 5th place Trinidad James, and in 6th, the final spot goes to team Rick's a Bitch. Now with that said, we're going to do a quick Week 14 matchup recap right before we get into this week's interviews. Now, Week 14 is the first week of the playoffs, and as I said before, the 1st place and 2nd place teams have a bye week, which would be Chirac at 1st and team Redskin Gophers at 2nd. For the remaining 4 teams, we're going to see the 3rd seed team Go-Go Ratchet play 6th seed team Rick is a Bitch. As of right now, Rick is a Bitch is projected to win 105-104, very close game. And then our second matchup, we have Trinidad James at 5th versus the 4th seed Golden Showers. And as of right now, Trinidad James is projected to win 106-105, another very close game. Now, with that being said, folks, if you didn't make it, if you're in it, if you're just a fan, make sure you have your popcorn ready for this weekend because it's going to be fucking intense. Now, before we do get to Week 14's games, this week's interview was with team owner Kai of Team Rick is a Bitch. We were able to talk with Kai and find out what he was up to during the season, what his thoughts were on the season, and what he hopes to get out of these playoffs. Hope everyone enjoys.
Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap.
So for this week, we have team owner of Rick is a Bitch, Kai, and we're really excited to have him. We haven't heard from him this year. He's been very quiet to himself, little by little, trying inching back and forth at trying to make the playoffs. And he finally did it as he's up against Team Go-Go Ratchet this week. He's going to be wanting to get a 2nd ring. We're very interested to see what he has to say. There we go. Team owner Kai.
Listen, all I did, you hear me? All I did, Rick is a Bitch is going to the chip. I will not conduct any interviews until the end of the season. You can find me all you want. I will not conduct any interview to the end of the season. On that note, have a good night, bitch.
Wait, okay. Well.
Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap.
All right, so that is not what we had expected. Gonna be honest, but that's all right. You know, reporter Rick is professional, so we'll try this again next week with a different team owner. In the meantime, we just got another paid advertisement sent in by team owner Rick. I'm being told by my producers it came with this message, and I quote, "This teaser trailer is a glimpse of what it will look like when I win the league this year. Team owner Rick." All right, folks, let's check it out.
He had to be stopped. He couldn't be allowed to win.
Then you should have worked on your aim, bro.
He's alive? No. You gotta listen to me. I worked for him. I was his campaign manager. That Morty is not what he seems.
Yeah, well, no Morty seems like a president.
He won?
Yeah. It was a blowout. Would hardly call it a blowout. It was almost close enough to trigger a recount. Jesus, what are you, joke security now, too?
So I think that was a threat on my life. So if anyone is watching this, I think they're trying to silence. Is that the credit music? Yeah. Folks, they're trying to silence me. Folks, if you're watching this, I need your help.